Let's see here. What do I have? Ah, it's the Osprey Tropos 34 liter, and this is a full review. Stick around to see whether or not this is a use it or a lose it. So for a tour of all the bag's features, I want you to go right there. That's the first look video for this bag. We're going to first talk about the design and usability of this bag, and don't forget I assigned 10 points to design and usability. So first thing, the organizer panel for this guy. What's really odd, let me go ahead and show this to you, is when you take a look at this organizer panel, it certainly is right there on the front, which is where I'd want it to be, but there are no slots for pens. And I just don't understand that. All they needed to do is split one of these pockets down the middle, and it would have been so much better just to have a place to put pens or a stylus or an Apple Pencil or something like that. So there's no doubt this center pocket is great because it does fit my iPhone without any problems. In fact, you can see, look at that, slides in there like it's perfectly made for the iPhone. And I really do think too that they could have used another mesh pocket below this set of pockets in this organizer panel. All they have is this sort of big open area here, so everything just falls down into the bottom. So it's an okay organizer pocket, but I don't think it's as good as it could be, that's for sure. Now, the one thing that is good about this organizer panel is that it opens up and is accessible through a zipper that does not have a zipper cover. And that's the same can be said for the main compartment, no zipper cover to get in there. But oddly enough, they decided to throw zipper covers in there just to spite me. So to get into the quick access pocket where you would keep your pair of sunglasses or something like that, zipper cover you're going to have to deal with. And also for your tech compartment, the place where you would put your laptop, your iPad, or whatever it is, also a zipper cover. So I guess I can understand putting a zipper cover in the area that's your tech compartment because you might be trying to keep rain from getting onto any of your tech gear. But to put it on the area where you keep your sunglasses, that seems really odd to me. And again, from my perspective, I'd rather forego zipper covers altogether and instead put on those weather-resistant YKK zippers. I think that's a much better solution than having to deal with the zipper cover all the time. That said, the zipper pulls that Osprey always uses, I think, are the best in the industry. I mean, you can just look at these things. You can grab them really easily. They don't clink together because they're made out of parachute cord and some rubbery plastic. And you can be wearing gloves. It doesn't make a difference. You can rip onto these things and open them up. I really think they're great. And it really is an industry. If you look at the radial, the Osprey radial, they have the exact same kind of zipper pulls. I just wish everyone would adopt the zipper pulls that Osprey uses. With regard to the sunglasses pocket, I do feel like it needs to be one layer forward. So usually when you think about a quick access pocket, it's either going to be sort of in the center top of the bag, or it's going to be the furthest out away from your back. And in my mind, that's sort of how I'm thinking about it. A quick access pocket is going to be the closest pocket when I'm looking down at the pack here. And instead, it's one in from the organizer panel. So it's kind of not intuitive for me where that sunglasses pocket would be, or the quick access pocket should be. If you do look inside the main compartment, you'll notice that it's a very dark gray. And though the lighting is great here where I'm shooting this, and so it's easy for you to see the contents and everything, it really would have been nice if they had made the interior lining of this even lighter. Maybe just make it a medium gray or a bright yellow or something, because you do lose stuff in the bottom dark areas of the bag. I would also say that this pocket that you have right here in the main compartment, it really would be nice if this was padded, because this would be a great spot to put an iPad or any kind of tablet in here. And right now it offers no protection to something like a tablet that you'd put in there. And while you could potentially put it in there with your laptop, you probably wouldn't want to, right? Having a laptop and a tablet smashing against each other, I don't think is a great thing. So if they just made this slash pocket here padded, I think that would have been great. Speaking of the tech area here, so it's one of those things where it's a combination laptop pocket, but also you could use it to put a water bladder into. It even has this outlet at the top where you can stick the hose out through. But what's odd is that it's missing the little hook that you normally need to have there that holds the water bladder up instead of having it flop all the way down to the bottom of the pack. So I'm not quite sure why that's the case, but that's simply, it seems like a design oversight. The compression straps here are actually kind of brilliant because they are ones that you can actually hide away if you don't want to use them. And for the most part, since I'm using this bag for business rather than trying to compress the load, it's really nice just to have it tuck away and disappear like that. Less stuff hanging off makes the bag look a little bit more professional, and therefore it crosses over better into the workday. The water bottle pockets on here are excellent because they're super deep, plus they do have the compression strap to be able to tighten it up and really hold that water bottle in there. And in terms of the ability to stand, this bag does stand. It does have what they refer to as the kickstand. The only thing I will tell you is that it's much easier to use when the bag actually has stuff in it, because the kickstand tends to sort of flop back, and then if you're not paying attention, you might just, the bag, if you don't deliberately pull the kickstand out, the bag will certainly fall over. The handle on top here, it's in a really good position, and it works. Although I really, as I've always said, I would rather have just a small little loop of webbing on the very back here so I can hang this bag on a hook wherever it needs to go when I come into my office, because this is a little bit far forward, and it's sort of, you have to really crank the handle back and the whole backpack back to be able to hang this thing on a hook in your office. Altogether, I would say that this bag, in terms of the usability and the design, I would give it a 7 out of 10. It's good, but it's not perfect, and it wouldn't take that much to make it really perfect. And this is where the pack really does shine, because this pack has the best suspension system for an everyday carry of any bag that I've used. It would rival the Radial 26, which essentially has the exact same back to it. And what's most important is, you'll notice here, rather than having sort of two raised ridges that go on either side of your back or either side of your spine, this has just a trampoline. And it's a mesh trampoline. So in terms of allowing perspiration to get through and out, it's the ultimate. Plus, it's super comfortable to have this flat trampoline against your back. And so it has actually a stainless steel wired frame in it. And that also makes it a lot more comfortable to carry heavy loads. The shoulder straps are just cushy enough. They may not look very wide. I mean, they clearly aren't very wide, but Osprey knows what they're doing. So they've made these straps just right, that they're not so beefy, they're ridiculous, but they're super comfortable. And it also has, in case you need it, this 1/2-inch webbing waist belt, which is of limited use given that it's so narrow, because frankly, while it might take up some of the weight of your bag, it's such a narrow little band, it would actually dig into your hips. So this is really much more about stability. If you're using this when you're, say, cycling, or maybe you're on your motorcycle or whatever it is, this is going to be something that keeps the bag from flopping up behind you. The other thing that's remarkable is that while this Osprey has a lot of pockets and a lot of bells and whistles, this thing is incredibly lightweight. It even has a the steel frame in there, and it's still incredibly lightweight. So gotta hand it to them. Osprey really knows what they're doing when it comes to putting together the right materials to make a pack that works well, is comfortable, and is light. So altogether, you shouldn't be too surprised to hear that this score is really high in terms of the comfort factor. I would give this a 9.5 out of 10. I would say the only thing that would make it even better is to have a webbing belt that was maybe an inch to an inch and a half webbing belt, so you could use it to take out some of the mass of the pack itself. But really, nothing comes close to this, except for maybe the Radial right behind me, in terms of comfort. All right, so let's move on to the build quality of the Osprey. The textile is funny because it does benefit greatly in that it's a lightweight textile. I would say that it's like a 250 denier. It's not a super heavyweight material. It's a high quality material, but it's not really heavyweight. And there's some polyester, some thin polyester here in places, in the pockets, in this front pocket here. It's good, but it truly is a balance here. I mean, this is not going to be as durable a pack as, say, the Green Room 136, which is made up of 1000D Cordura. But it's also significantly lighter as a result. Another thing that's notable is that there's no lining in this bag. Well, there's some lining, but in a lot of places, all you're seeing is the very back of the fabric that is on the front. In most bags that you're paying, $200 for, they're fully lined, and that's for a couple reasons. It's a luxury thing, but it's also a durability piece. It does add to the weight. So again, this is one of the things that they were able to get rid of excess weight by not having the liner in a significant number of places in the bag. But it does say something about the the manufacturing and the quality of the actual pack itself. It's not at the top tier here. The zippers, there's some odd choices here. They're all YKK zippers, but I do wish that they were all number 10 racket coil ones, like this one that goes into the main compartment, because you can tear on these things. Nothing's going to happen. They're such beefy guys. And then we have something weird, which is the tech and the sunglasses zippers are only number 5s, and to me that seems really light, especially given that it's a number 6 for the area where you go into your organizer panel. I would actually find that I go into the organizer panel, the sunglasses pocket, the tech pocket, all are pretty much the same in terms of the same number of times I'm going to unzip and zip things. So I'm not sure why they didn't just go all the same number, make it a 6, even better, make it an 8 or a 10. So I do feel like they were looking to cut corners on the zippers, although they did go with YKKs. I think that it feels like they could have had a beefier gauge YKK zipper throughout the bag. In terms of the manufacturing, you can sort of see it here. There are little fuzzy places, areas where when they stitched it together, I'm not quite sure what happened, but a lot of the threads had poked through. And in fact, enough of it had come through, it was furry enough that I actually had to take a lighter to it to sort of melt back all that stuff. It does make me worry a little bit that if the stitching is sort of undoing itself here, where else do they cut corners in putting together this bag, and might that be something that happens? I've never had any issues with Osprey bags. This is the first time I've seen stitching issues with a bag made by Osprey. In terms of waterproofness, this is a coated nylon, but keep in mind that none of these are water guard zippers, and so really the leakiest point is going to be the zipper. So don't expect this thing to be in any way really water resistant. I mean, it's going to withstand you going through a short rain shower, but if it's pouring out there and you're bicycling, you're going to have to find shelter quickly, or make sure that you pack a cover for this thing to keep it dry, because it's really not going to keep your stuff from getting wet. So in terms of the build quality, I don't think there's anything too special here, folks. It's an Osprey, so but in some ways, because it's a mass market manufacturer, it can't compare to these independent makers like you see here in terms of the quality of the manufacturing. So if you're somebody who's a pack abuser, be careful about this. It's not built as well as a lot of other packs that I'd like to compare this to. So overall, I would give this a 6.5 out of 10 in terms of its build quality. Okay, and the last index is the crossover index. And that, if you recall, it describes the degree to which this bag can be as comfortable on the trail as it is in the boardroom. And I think you can look at this and see that this is, it's great in the field. It carries loads really very well, heavy loads in particular, really well. But it is kind of sporty looking. Despite the fact that I have it all black, it's still pretty sporty. You can see the Osprey up here. It's got multiple panels, a lot of cords hanging off of it, a lot of zippers hanging off of it. And so it's hard to imagine that this thing isn't just a little bit too casual in a boardroom setting. Just too many panels. It would be nice if this just had a simpler look to it, maybe just a single black panel on the top here. And also, the trampoline, while it's super functional and comfortable and works super well, it's not great again. It looks a little bit like, why is that guy coming off the Appalachian Trail to a meeting right now? So it's not great as a suit and tie bag, that's for sure. I would give this Out of 3 points, I would give this a 1 out of 3 in terms of its crossover ability. So if you total up all those numbers, we're talking about having a score of 24 out of 33, which isn't bad, but it's also not super great. This is one of those bags where I would say it's a use it, and I like it, but there are some things about it that give me pause, and I wish they would. It would be great if somehow Osprey consulted with me before they pushed out packs like this, because I really think it would just take a couple things to make this bag an absolute winner, one of the top packs that I've reviewed. So there you go. Hope this was helpful. If you find any of these reviews helpful, please make sure you subscribe right here, and take a look at some of my other videos here and here. And until next time, good luck searching for the best possible pack.